On the Racing Insiders this week, the World Rally Championship is in Portugal. Volkswagen controls it again, a great dominating year for that manufacturer. World Challenge is in Long Beach this weekend. We get some insight from Jeff. The Formula Drift Championship, it opens in Long Beach. We talked to the pole sitter and the defending champion, Michael Essa. Bryan Herta is an Indy 500 winning team owner. He's going into the Global Rallycross. And Brian Deegan, we have exclusive interviews with both of them from the Global Rallycross Media Day this week. All of that coming up on the Racing Insiders next. Welcome back to another edition of the Racing Insiders, the only place in broadcasting where you're going to get sports car content every week. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Jeff Lepper is in Folsom, California. Let's go right away, get this underway quickly with the World Rally Championship in Portugal. Jeff, a great run for Sebastian Ogier, another dominating performance for the Volkswagen Motorsports team.
Yeah, Bill, it was the fourth Portugal win now for Ogier. Can this guy be stopped? The Volkswagen team is really dominant right now in World Rally Championship. Second place, of course, that went to Mikko Hirvonen. Great to see him come back, get a factory ride with his Ford Fiesta, able to get that second place. But the guy that I always root for, and I think is a friend of yours too, Bill, Mats Olsberg, he gets third place in the Citroen.
I've talked to Olsberg a couple of times. He's a cool guy. He's young, kind of gets it, and he's really, with the Citroen program, Citroen, after all those years with Sebastian Loeb, it's very difficult for them not to have a chance to win, but Olsberg is going to probably move up on the podium at some point this year. Get a win? I don't know. Anybody who gets a win in the WRC this year is going to probably have to wait until Ogier goes out. Ogier is very dominant, and if he has a problem, his teammate Jari-Matti Latvala is sitting there ready to pounce. Olsberg is going to have to jump over both of them. I don't know if he could do that, but he certainly has the talent. Obviously, the Citroen has the speed, but it's going to be difficult. This might be just a great year for Ogier. Ogier is a phenomenal driver. It's one of the reasons why he left Citroen, because they wanted him to play ball with Loeb. He wasn't willing to. He wanted to grow, and now he's grown into his own spotlight.
Yeah, he's really opened up there with that Volkswagen team. I mean, he is the domination right now, and I like to see that. We talked about it a few shows ago. Is this good for motorsports, any form of motorsports, let alone World Rally Championship? I think it is. I do have to give a little bit of sorrow there for Ott Tanak in his Citroen. Had the same crash this year that Jari-Matti had last year on Portugal, where Jari-Matti flew off the cliff, rolled over about 12 times. This time Ott was able to stay in track though, and only rolled over about 4 times, but his rally was done. Had a great run, was second after the 7th stage before he had that accident. So Portugal, definitely a car killer.
It was good for Hirvonen. You mentioned that before. Hirvonen is an excellent driver. Came within 1 point of the championship 4 years ago. I think it was 2009 when he was competing for the Ford team against Loeb, and he came within just seconds, like second to the last stage in Wales, of winning the championship. And that really set him back. It got into his head, and he had a couple of down years. He went to Citroen and was second banana to Loeb. That's not a good place to be if you're a world-class driver and want to win. Now Hirvonen is with Ford, with M Sport, and it's good. You're absolutely 1,000% right. It's good to see him get that Ford, not just for him, but for Ford, to get them back into second on the podium. Hopefully, he's going to go against Ogier at some point, but same thing applies to him that I mentioned about Olsberg. Ogier just has a great season going, and it's going to be difficult to beat him.
Yeah, Mikko Hirvonen, you know, if you remember correctly, he actually, when he left Subaru, ran his own team, and he bought a customer Citroen and was very successful for that. So you nailed it on the head there. Good to see him do that with the factory Ford.
Let's go on to the Pirelli World Challenge. Is going to be in Long Beach this weekend. You know more about that than anyone. You're behind the scenes there. Give us some inside tidbits that we could look for in the Pirelli World Challenge at Long Beach this weekend.
Well, that truly is the Monaco of the United States, the Long Beach Grand Prix. The previous round 2 weeks ago at St. Petersburg, Florida, Tomas Inga redeemed himself at St. Pete, was able to get the win after his huge crash in a GT1 Aston Martin there 2 years ago. He came really through the field, did sit on the pole. He said he could not see the starting lights on his grid position on pole. Probably pulled up a little too far down the straightaway if you ask me, but he was able to come back through the field and challenge Andy Pilgrim for the win. Lawson Aschenbach got around Andy Lee and was able to get his win, your 2013 GTS champion. So good, exciting stuff. Sold out for Long Beach. No more entries are available. That's how popular the Pirelli World Challenge is with this GT3 format now and the GTS cars. I'm looking forward to watch all these exotic FIA GT3 machines, the Cadillac CTS VZR, the Nissan GTR. Let's see all these cars compete on the city streets of Long Beach.
Had some interesting conversations at the media day last week with the some Pirelli World Challenge officials, behind the scenes kind of guys, but they were saying that the success of Will Turner and Turner Motorsport at the St. Petersburg with his GT3 BMW had some other people on the sidelines that are taking a look, but they may bring in some more. You have some idea of who may be coming into the Pirelli World Challenge with the GT3 program?
Well, I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you what, man. It's really great to see in motorsports the diversity that even between two different series has. I like the fact that with the IMSA and the Tudor series, there's an endurance format. If you're a team that fits your profile and fits your business model to have two drivers and run an enduro race, that's where you need to be. If you're the kind of team that, hey, I have one driver, we like to go out as flat out as fast as we can, Pirelli World Challenge is the place for you to be. Then you have teams like Turner Motorsports, Global Motorsports Group, teams like that that have a chance to run in both arenas, and I think that helps not only motorsports in general, but it helps the fan as well and helps grow this fan base globally. So I see it only as a positive if anybody's going to come over, but a lot of people are watching Pirelli World Challenge, especially with this sprint race format and how exciting it is. And being on the IndyCar weekends, I think that's where Pirelli World Challenge has the advantage at these huge venues such as Long Beach Grand Prix coming up.
Look forward to that. The race is Sunday after the IndyCar race at the Long Beach Grand Prix. Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Jeff Lepper is in Folsom, California. Let's go to Long Beach here in Southern California. The opening of the Formula Drift season. 20,000 people showed up. It's a huge crowd for them. A sellout in Long Beach. The winner, 2009 champion Chris Forsberg. A great weekend for him. Beat Kenneth Bowen, one of the up-and-coming names in Formula Drift, Jeff.
Yeah, he really did a good name for himself, trying to really make a name for himself in the Formula Drift at Long Beach. Was really great to see him do that. Michael Essa in third went up against JTP, Justin Pollock, for that third position. But your 2013 championship on the podium in his BMW, and that's something that I really like to see. All the naysayers about Michael Essa last year, he comes out to the very first round at Long Beach. He's on the podium. Guys, for real.
Gets new points, had a new sponsor, Newegg.com, the people that have technology. It's good to see a new name that's non-automotive involved in the sport. They have a lot of activation things planned. I talked to Michael about that in this exclusive conversation.
Michael Essa, congratulations again. You had a good off-season, new car. Tell me what your off-season is like for a champion.
Well, off-season was crazy. I started my own business, Essa Autosport, so moved into a new shop, got everything ready, built some cars for customers, and also rebuilt my car from the ground up. So it was busy. Haven't really had any time off, but we're out here, and we're looking forward to the test day today.
You feel like a champion, or are you just another guy starting another season?
No, I definitely am rolling that championship into the season and going into the first practice day the same way I was running the whole season last year. Really, worrying about myself, not worried about the competition.
Any changes to the car? A lot of guys redid added extra rotors to their rotaries and change the whole car around. You do that for your BMW?
We made very few changes. The car worked really well last season, and it was the first year with a new car. So we did some fine-tuning stuff. Now we have setup notes from all of last season at all the tracks that we've been to. So when we show up, we'll know where we were when we ended the event, and we can improve from there. So I didn't think we needed to really make a lot of changes.
Any new sponsors step up for being a champion?
Yeah, Bill Stein's continued their support with us, become a bigger sponsor. Yokohama has also continued with us. And now we've brought on Newegg, which is pretty awesome, great company to work with.
Newegg, that's a non-automotive sponsor. That's pretty important.
Yeah, we're really excited about it. You know, it's big to bring in something that isn't automotive centered. So we're looking forward to where we can go with that.
I didn't plan on asking you this, but I see a few extra gray hairs in your beard there. Is that from worrying in the off season, getting that championship? Are those championship gray hairs?
I think it's a combination of things, but I also have a daughter who just turned 1, so less sleep, more time in the shop. It's been crazy.
All you had to do was say a newborn, and there's 5 or 6 of them right there. That alone will give you 5 or 6.
It was good to see Michael come out. A lot of the insiders, the guys that he beat last year. I don't know. I'll mention that in my "Are You Kidding Me?" But he was crowded all weekend. I stuck my head in his car while all the media was around when he was backing out, and I said, "See what causes this attention when you win championships?" He laughed and said, "This is a new world. It's really different for him." A privateer getting this kind of attention from the media.
Well, he's getting a lot of attention, and he can't help but have a good-looking car, too, as BMW with that new wrap on there, where you mentioned the Newegg, and then the race team that he started in the offseason, Essa Autosports. So it's really good to see the livery on that car. And speaking of livery, Chris, the Force Forsberg, no longer has the nitrous energy drink, NOS energy drink on the side of his car, but did expand to a 2-car team now with Jonathan Castro. They're running both of those 370Zs. So it's going to be interesting to see how the Formula Drift plays out their next round, May 9th and 10th. I'm going to be watching, of course, live on their web stream at formuladee.com.
That Formula Drift stream, 250,000 people, they say, tuned in at some point this weekend. It's an incredible show. It feels like you're almost there. Global Rallycross was here in Southern California, their media day, 3 IndyCar teams, and a lot of people that had nothing to do with Global Rallycross and the media day, they were showing up. We'll have that right after this. This is The Racing Insider.
This segment of The Racing Insiders was brought to you by Go Pro, Be a Hero. Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new Go Racing TV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the Racing Insiders. A great week this week in the harbor area of Los Angeles, Jeff. We mentioned Formula Drift already, and the Global Rallycross went to San Pedro, where they're going to be holding their September round for Los Angeles later this season. But they had a media day and a lot of IndyCar involvement with Andretti Autosport, with the Volkswagen program that Tanner Faust and Scott Speed are involved with. Bryan Herta Autosport, IndyCar winner in the 2011 Indy 500, and distant Tim Cindric, president at Roger Penske Racing. He started a team for his son. It's going to be like an IndyCar row in the Global Rallycross this year.
Well, I'm starting to think that maybe it's not going to be much cheaper to run a GRC car than it is to run a full-on Indy car with all these IndyCar teams coming over. It's going to be amazing to see them doing that, but I don't know how they're going to have to put like a price cap on this or something, because to get Andretti Autosport and now Bryan Herta Autosport into the Global Rallycross, and then if you have a tie-in with Penske, it seems like GRC might be the place to be.
That television, that at the media day they announced NBC Sports is going to throw this thing everywhere. There's going to be live shows until football season comes around. There's going to be live events. It's going to be incredible. But the Bryan Herta news, I talked to Bryan Herta exclusively, and he talked about bringing a team into one of his IndyCar sponsors. He's putting on a car and bringing that into Global Rallycross. Here's Bryan Herta.
Yeah, so, Austin Dine, who's going to be moving up from the Light Series this year. I had a relationship with Barracuda Networks, which was our IndyCar sponsor last year. They were looking for something kind of new and different to do in motorsports, and I pitched them on the idea of doing Global Rallycross, and they jumped at it. So so we're going to partner with Olmsberg MSE guys and Andreas, and run a Ford for Austin Dine in the full series in the supercar.
Wow. So he's stepping up he ran the supercar lights last year. He's stepping up. It seems like you ought to be a two-car team between the two of you. When are you going to get out there?
I've ridden in one, but I haven't driven one yet, and I would like to do that at some point. I mean, it has not been lost on me that would be something that would be really fun, a unique challenge, and totally different than anything I've done in my driving career. But right now, the focus is on. For me, this is all new, and this first year is just a chance to get to know the series, learn a little bit more about this type of racing. Support what Austin Dine's doing with Barracuda Networks, and look at how this could grow and be a whole separate component to what we're doing in the IndyCar series.
Lots of action in Global Rallycross. Brian Deegan, off-road champion. He hasn't won yet, but we talked exclusively about that in Global Rallycross. He's ready to win this year, especially to get that $1 standing bet with Tanner Faust. He wants to beat Tanner in the worst way.
Coming into sports such as this GRC, it's a new challenge for me. Growing up riding dirt bikes and motocross, freestyle motocross, all these sports that I started off, just learning and then able to master it. And that's what I see with GRC. And this has been the toughest form of racing for me, because the guys are so good. And you look at over in Europe, the guys are I think the best drivers in the world in the World Rally Championship. And, those guys come over here and I get to race with them, and sometimes, you beat them and you're like, wow, all right, then I guess I'm in on this caliber. And that's what I like about it.
There's one guy you haven't beat yet. That's Tanner. You guys had a bet going for a couple of years. I know that's a monkey on your back. You really want to beat the guy. You got a plan for this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think, the guys are switching teams and stuff's going on, and, I'll be on a Ford, so I think that's the proven car. And I know Tanner went to VW, so, maybe that's going to be the trick.
You don't have, I don't know if there's any team orders. There probably weren't, but the two of you were in Fords last year. So now you get a chance to really go heads up with him, and nobody's going to say anything if you bang him off the track.
Yeah, well, we still have the same title sponsor, but in the end, it's every man for himself on the racetrack. And for me, really, this season, I'm going to be ruthless. I'm going to win races, and I'm not, holding back. So I'm not going to make any friends on the racetrack, that's for sure.
All of this television, Jeff, is going to bring a lot of people into Global Rallycross, especially live TV. That carries a lot of energy, and NBC Sports plans to wipe that across the board from their regional networks to an online, an app that they have to look at programming live. NBC is going to be whipping this pony real hard.
Yeah, it can only help Global Rallycross, and it's a series that I enjoy. I went to my first one at Las Vegas, and I've always watched it either live on the internet if I could, or tape delays, whatever I could to get a hold of any Global Rallycross coverage. I'm glad to see them having live TV and really stepping up with a media partner like NBC Sportsnet that can help promote them, because I think that's what the series really needed to be up into that upper echelon of motorsports, especially here in America when it's so popular in Europe.
Those two interviews with Bryan Herta and Brian Deegan, you can get the full interviews on our YouTube channel, The Racing Insiders.
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? Jeff, what's on your mind this week?
Well, the Long Beach Media Day, I was there, you were there, Tyler McCrory was there, and so were the thieves. Somebody broke into his truck at his hotel, stole his helmet, stole his driver's suit, GoPro cameras, all of his stuff that he had in the pickup truck there. So if you see somebody walking around like Tyler McCrory, make sure you beat him up or call the police. Are you kidding me? Hopefully Tyler doesn't get beat up.
Make sure it's not Tyler,
Yeah,
though.
make sure it's not Tyler. Yeah.
Hate to have that mistaken identity. My Are You Kidding Me also comes from the Formula Drift world. I was roaming around at the actual event on Friday and heard some disturbing news. While the media was gathered around Essa, some of the drivers aren't accepting Michael Essa's championship last year because of the controversy around the way he won. I think it's ridiculous. He won the championship. He battled all year, came back, got the points, and it just makes no sense that this should be an issue. Michael Essa is the defending champion. The media recognizes that. You should have seen the people surrounding his pits when he was there. It was incredible to hear that, though, from a fellow competitor. On the calendar this week, the Pirelli World Challenge is this weekend in Long Beach. It's going to be a great show, along with the Tudor United Sports Car Championship that's happening at this part of the Long Beach Grand Prix, sharing the bill with the Indy cars.
Yeah, we'll have GTE, GTA, and GTS at Long Beach, and you'll see the full field at Barber Motorsports Park at the end of April. You can always watch the Long Beach Round live at WorldChallengeTV.com.
It's going to be a great show. I look forward to being there. I love the sports cars. There's so few places to pass at Long Beach with the canyon of walls and diving under cars. There's only like 2 places to pass, and both of those are sharp turns at the end of those passing zones. It's going to be a great race, and it's good to see that Tudor. I was talking to some driver. I don't think we don't have a lot of time left, but I was talking to, I think, Kuno Whitmer, who said that we've already had as much hours on the track with the 24-hour and the 12 hours of Sebring combined. That's like what the rest of the season is going to be. The shortest race of the year coming up in Long Beach. That's the Racing Insiders this week. For Jeff Lepper in Folsom, California, I'm Bill Wood in Los Angeles. Remember to take care of each other, respect each other. Look forward to seeing you next week. Peace.